Have you ever wondered the difference between nose breathing and mouth breathing? In the book Breath by James Nestor, he explains and takes a deep dive into the negative effects of mouth breathing versus nose breathing. In this informative speech, I'm going to be discussing what our nose does for us when we breathe, like humidifying the air and filtering it. I'm going to talk about how our body transports oxygen through our bloodstream. And lastly, I'm going to discuss the negative effects of mouth breathing that James Nestor experienced in his experiment that he explains in his book. Did you know that breathing in through your nose actually plays a role in your immune system? In the article Nose Breathing versus Mouth Breathing, Patrick McGowan explains that breathing through your nose filters, humidifies, and warms the air. He also explains, and I quote, "The nose filters out foreign materials that may contain bacteria and viruses while allowing oxygen into our lungs. The nose plays a key role in preventing pathogen inhalation." When we're breathing in through our mouth, we don't get that immunity protection that we do when we breathe in through our nose. Furthermore, McCone explains that breathing through your mouth lowers your carbon dioxide in your body, which lowers the oxygenation in your blood and also increases your pain reception. You may be asking me, what is blood oxygenation? Well, that leads me to my second main point. How do we breathe and transport oxygen into our blood? In a video by the Khan Academy, it explains that we get oxygen into our muscles, tissues, and organs through the transport of our red blood cells and the hemoglobin in our blood. When we breathe in, our hemoglobin grabs onto those oxygen cells and transports it to our muscles and tissues and releases that oxygen when in the presence of carbon dioxide, CO2. Now, how does that relate to breathing in through our mouth and breathing in through our nose? Well, when we breathe in through our mouth, we are breathing more rapidly. We're exhaling all the CO2 out of our blood, or out of our bodies, and we are breathing more breaths per minute. We're also breathing into our upper chest instead of our lower surface area lungs. Breathing in through your nose slows your heart rate, slows your breaths per minute, and allows that body to keep and hold on to that CO2. Now let's talk about the effects of mouth breathing versus nose breathing. James Nestor participated in an experiment where he had his nose surgically plugged for 10 days and they studied the effects. He also exercised during these, so they got a lot of information on how his heart rate and exhaustion levels play into breathing in through your mouth. The results were, when he was breathing through his mouth, he had increased blood pressure, he suffered from sleep apnea, he snored more, and lastly, he had lower blood oxygen levels and lower heart rate variability. When he was exercising and breathing through his mouth, he actually exhausted faster. Conversely, when he had the plugs removed, his blood oxygen level increased by 20% with each breath. James Nestor explained that the most effective way to breathe is breathing in through your nose, deep into your lower lungs where there's greater surface area using your diaphragm, and then exhaling slower out your nose. This lowers our heart rate. It leads to better oxygenation in the blood because your CO2 levels are going up, like I just explained, and relaxes your nervous system. If you don't believe me, take a nice deep breath through your nose right now. Hopefully by now you have a better understanding of what our nose does for us when we're breathing through it, like humidifying the air, filtering out, and playing a role in our immune system. I explained that how our body transports oxygen into our bloodstream and the hemoglobin in our blood. And lastly, the harmful effects of breathing in through your mouth, like greater heart rate, lower blood pressure, and then snoring as well. If you can't remember all of this information, an easy way to remember it is this: you should be breathing in through your mouth as often as you're eating through your nose. Thank you. Please be hand the room. Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.